Ooh, what's good, Commanders fans? Victory Monday feels good after a dub. That's my kids in the background, if you guys hear them. But even though I did win better draft position, it always feels good to beat the Cowboys. Victory Monday. I don't know if you saw Stephen A. talking trash to Michael Irvin, stuff like that. It makes my day. It makes my day seeing us beat the Cowboys every time. I love it. I really enjoy it. Even though the rivalry has died down, I still love beating them. Somebody made a T-shirt saying "Rest in peace, Dak Prescott" in Landover, Maryland. I was just dying laughing. That's how bad he was. But this video is, of course, who should stay, who should go free agency. I do this every single year after the last game of the season. Free agents, 2023 free agents, who I think should stay, who should go, who I think is going to come back, stuff like that. Talking about Sam Howell, of course, he's the talk of the town. I like Sam I am. I already said it yesterday. I would not mind seeing him as the starter in 2023. I think 2023, of course, with the ownership situation, whether Dan is here next season or not, I just think it's an evaluation situation, an evaluation season. I know our opponents came out. We're playing the Patriots. We're playing the Jets. We're playing the AFC East. We're playing the Pats, the Jets, the Bills, the Dolphins. Now, the Bills is. I'm just talking way into the future. If I had to do a schedule prediction, we're probably going to lose to the Bills. Just think about the schedule. I think the schedule is winnable. I think I think we could make the playoffs. But if Ron's the coach, then I know it's going to be 7 or 8 wins. So understanding that, if Ron is going to be the coach again, I think it needs to be an evaluation year for Sam Howell. I think it needs to be a year where, hey, we need to find out if this guy can be the quarterback or not. I think whoever the coach is, we need to find the answer at quarterback. And we're not going to do it by trading for a guy. Like I keep saying, Derek Carr, Jimmy G, Tannehill, guys like that. We're just not going to find a franchise guy. I hope that Ron learns his lesson, that you can't do the retread thing over and over again. You can't do the Ryan Fitzpatrick thing over and over again. You can't do the Carson Wentz thing over and over again. You just can't. You have to take the slow approach and draft a quarterback and see what he can do. If he wants to draft another quarterback too and just have competition, I'm fine with that. Keep Heinicke. That could be the trio of quarterbacks. If you want to let Heinicke go and then draft a quarterback, or just let Heinicke stay and be that veteran guy just to help Sam Howell out, or knock on wood, injury happens, you just have somebody who can run an offense at a starter level, then you keep Heinicke and just give Sam Howell the keys. I'm not just saying that because he had a good game. I think he had a B performance, but I think he's good enough where, hey, I think you want to see more from him. You want to evaluate and see, because he had a good connection already with Terry and Jahan. Like I said, I think he hit guys in stride and gave guys yak opportunities, which I just didn't see much from the other quarterbacks. I think Taylor did give some guys yak opportunities. Carson Wentz, the Jaguars game. But he hit guys in stride where you see Jahan running with the football after, Terry running with the football after, and Sam's a mobile quarterback. So I don't want to go on a tangent. I do want to get to what the video is actually supposed to be about, which is who should stay, who should go. Now, I'm going to go through the guys. Actually, I'm going to go through the guys that are kind of tough first to make a decision on. For me, it's not really tough. Daron Payne, man. He's 25. He's 25 years old, 25 years and 6 months. Unrestricted free agent this year. Former first-round pick, had 11.5 sacks this year, was probably top 5 in tackles for loss. Same thing with John Allen. Montez Sweat at one time was top 5, top 10 in and TFLs. I'll call them tackle for losses, TFLs, just to make it easier. He's a dog, man. He can rush the passer. He can stop the run. He's a big part of this defense. And at times, he was the best player on this defense some games. The left hand up tip pass against the Falcons. We don't win that game without Daron Payne. The Bears game, he was very impactful. A lot of our wins, he was very impactful. 11.5 sacks as a defensive tackle is insane. The pressure rate, the tackling rate, insane. Really insane. 32 tackles on the season. Definitely should be a Pro Bowler. It should have been a Pro Bowler. I think it was an alternate, but definitely should have been a Pro Bowler for sure. Was playing at an All-Pro level in some games for sure as well. Now, if you look at some of the other defensive tackles that are highly paid right now, Aaron Donald, of course, he's making $31 million per year. DeForest Buckner, $21 million per year. Chris Jones from the Chiefs, $20 million per year. Jonathan Allen just got paid. He's getting $18 million per year. Vita Vea from the Bucks, $17 million per year. Now, the price tag is going up for defensive tackles. Knowing this organization and the way they move, the way they make moves, a lot of people are saying that a franchise tag is most likely what's going to happen with Daron Payne. I could certainly see that happening as well. I would love to see them get a long-term deal done. When you talk about this defensive line, all the first-round picks, the way Daron Payne played this year, man, you can argue that he might have been the best defensive tackle or defensive lineman this year. I know John Allen is a dog too, but There were some games where Daron Payne was the best player on the defensive line this year. He really was. And you got to keep this D-line intact. I feel like you got to keep this D-line intact. I know Montez Sweat, he's coming up for a contract next year or 2 years from now. Then you got Chase Young 3 years from now. And right now, the most consistent player really was between Daron and John this year. And Montez Sweat, he had a good year this year too. Make no mistakes. Montez Sweat had a good year this year too. And Daron Payne has been healthy as well. Doesn't miss a lot of games. He really doesn't. So I'm thinking about, I think the projected salary for him is like, what, $21 million this year. If Ron wants to be cheap, then I don't think he should do that. I think you got to pay Daron Payne, man. If you want to keep this defense intact, we were first and third down defense, and Daron Payne was a huge part of that. He was a huge part of that. And we were good in the beginning of the year. We were good stopping the run. It tailed off a little bit. Daron Payne was a big part of that as well. And they both play a lot of snaps. Him and John Allen, they play like the most snaps in the defensive in the league. We really didn't have a rotation. John Ridgeway came in. He helped to rotate with the rotation. Fedarian Mathis got hurt. We just don't have a lot of backs. We don't have a lot of depth at that DT spot. We just don't. And John Allen, Daron Payne, they had to play a lot of snaps. They were probably dog tired, but they were out there still getting it done. So I would pay Daron Payne. He should stay, in my opinion. Next guy on the list that's a little tough, I guess Taylor Heinicke. I already said I would keep him. His market value, and you look at Daron Payne's market value on Spot Rack. Pulling that up right now. It's loading right now. I don't know why it's taking so long. But Taylor Heinicke, his market value is pretty high as well. I would keep Taylor Heinicke because you just need a good. Daron Payne's his current market value is $14 million. That's not true at all. It's probably $21 million right now. Probably 2021. The price is going up every year. The price is going up. So you're going to have to pay him or franchise tag him if you want to keep him here next year. So I think my gut is franchise tag. I think they're going to franchise tag him. That's what I think is going to happen. Just looking at history with this team, Brandon Sheriff, the whole Kirk Cousins situation. I know it's a different regime, but Brandon Sheriff, he was franchise tagged under Ron Rivera. So I could definitely see that happening with Daron Payne. Trey Turner, he can go. Wes Schweitzer, I would keep him as a backup. Cam Sims, I love him. He has a big fan club. I would keep him. Receiver, that's probably our best position on the team other than D-line. You got Terry Jahan, who are just two really good receivers. Curtis Samuel's a good receiver, too. I like De'Ami Brown, too. Dax Milne, punt returner. He's solid at best. Cam Sims, I would keep him. I really would. Unless you want to draft somebody else or bring somebody else in, like a DeAndre Carter, to be a better punt returner and kick returner at wide receiver, I wouldn't be opposed to that. Somebody like a DeAndre Carter in free agency. That kind of mold to replace Cam Sims. Cam Sims just doesn't get a lot of opportunities. I do want to see him play with Sam Howell. Maybe Sam Howell gives him more opportunities. But Cam Sims, $2 million per year. That's what he just got this year. I don't see anybody paying him that much. So I wouldn't mind bringing him back. Joey Sly, he can go, or you got to bring a kicker competition, man. That extra point, too many missed extra points. Yesterday was just awful, missing a 31-yard kick. He put us in some bad spots, man, this year. He really did. Missing the kick against the Giants, extra point. So many games he just missed. And he had his moments. He was special teams player of the month. So I give him his credit for that. But there were some times where he missed some layups, man. He missed some extra points where he shouldn't have missed them. F.A.O. Bada, I bring him back. I like him as a pass rusher. He's just got to wrap up and tackle. He's got to know the rules as well. He was making $1 million this year, so I wouldn't mind that. Tyler Larson, center. He can go, man, but he can be a backup if he comes back. David Mayo can walk. He played good yesterday, though. He can walk. Boston can walk. John Williams, you can bring him back as a backup depth player. Nick Martin, he can walk. He can barely snap the football. Khaleke Hudson, I bring him back. He made $895,000 this year. He's a restricted free agent, so I think he'll be back. Milo Eifler, I think that's the guy that didn't have a picture on the Sunday Night Football last year against the Cowboys in the introduction. Exclusive rights free agent, sure, you can bring him back. Jeremy Reeves, Pro Bowler, special teams guy, played safety in the Browns game, has played safety before in the Eagles game 2 years ago when we went to the playoffs, at the Cowboys game on Thanksgiving where we blew the Cowboys out 41-16. Yes, I would definitely bring him back as a special teams player. Congrats to Jeremy Reeves for making the Pro Bowl. Eli Wolf, tight end. Camp Body, Cole Holcomb, I would bring him back. That's probably the one guy that's really up in the air that a lot of people are mixed about. He's a good tackler, solid in coverage, not really elite at everything. He's a versatile, does have position flex. I know Ron played him at the Mike linebacker to start the season off. Good at stopping the run. I do think we missed him at times. I thought him and Jamin were a good duo. Would I bring him back? I don't know what his market's going to be. They don't have a market value on Spot Rack. Maybe $5 million per year, something like that. $4 or $5 million per year. Did miss a lot of games this year. He's not really injury prone either. I would bring Cole Holcomb back just because we need depth at the linebacker spot. I would draft the linebacker as well. I really would. Wild Goose or exclusive rights free agent, he can go. All right, Carson Wentz. I haven't brought up Carson Wentz yet. He's not a free agent technically. He's not a free agent until 2025, but he has a 0 dead cap hit in 2023 if you release him, or in 2024 if you release him. Dead cap hit is 0, and we all knew this. There's a potential out. Ron Rivera, the way he handled this contract kind of showed you that he didn't 100% believe in Carson Wentz. Dan Snyder said, we have a quarterback now. We found out that we don't, and we kind of knew this before the season started. I was very optimistic. It just reminded me of Ryan Fitzpatrick. When the trade was announced, I was lukewarm to it. When we traded for Ryan Fitzpatrick, I didn't like my gut feeling. If you watch my video where we signed Ryan Fitzpatrick, I was not happy at first, and then it kind of grew on me a little bit. I was like, okay, he can throw the ball downfield. Same thing with Carson Wentz. I was like, he's got a strong arm. We can protect him. Got a good run game with Gibson, Brian Robinson, Terry McLaurin, Jahan Dotson, Curtis Samuel. Got receivers and all that. You can help him out. And went 27 touchdowns, 7 picks last year against the Colts. But this guy has the yips, man. He's cooked. He's a backup in this league. He's not a starter. He showed that. He was bad before he got injured. The Bears game was just ugly. It was hard to watch. We barely won that game. He was awful in that game. The Cowboys game against Cooper Rush, he was awful. Lost 25-10. The Eagles game, he got sacked 8 times. He was awful. Holds on to the ball too long. He's a nice guy and all that. I wish him the best, but he does not need to be in the Commanders. He does not need to be in Washington or Landover, Maryland anymore, or in Ashburn, Virginia anymore. I don't want to see this guy anymore. He's a great guy. I heard he got a suite for Sam Howell's family. So I think Carson Wentz is a great human being, but his time in D.C. is up, and I think his time in the NFL is definitely coming to an end pretty soon as well. This was his last chance. This was his last chance. And 3 interceptions in a game that defines your career. You did it last year against the Jaguars. So this is just who he is. It's who he is. This is who Carson Wentz is. With the Colts, he lost to the Jaguars, choked in a game where they needed to make it to the playoffs. Then he does it again a year later where the Commanders need to make the playoffs, and they can't beat 2 teams that were already eliminated. The Jags were eliminated. They got the first pick in the draft, and you lost to them to make it to the playoffs. Then you lose to the Browns, who were already eliminated, and you do it again. So, you have to cut Carson Wentz. So the dead cap, over the cap, where is it at? I had the numbers right here too. If you cut Carson Wentz, but yes, that will open up cap space. So the Commanders, we should have a good amount of cap space. Right now, we have $17 million in cap space in 2023. If you cut Carson Wentz, you have $43 million in cap space in 2023. That is music to my ears. Offensive line. Sign linemen. Sign offensive linemen. You can go big. Maybe you can sign a corner. Sign some offensive linemen. We got to protect Sam Howell next year. So I would definitely cut Carson Wentz. Logan Thomas is a guy that might be on the chopping block too. If you cut Logan Thomas, you save you save $10 million if you cut Logan Thomas. If you cut Logan Thomas, you save $10 million. And I like Logan Thomas, but you can tell he's getting older. He really about $9 million if you cut Logan Thomas. You have like the dead cap hit for Logan Thomas is $3.5 million in dead cap money if you do cut him. It's dead cap. Yeah, it's $3.5 million. You have a potential out this year for Logan Thomas. He's going to be 32 in the next season in 2023. He's going to be 32. He's getting older. Now, he was the guy that said stuff about Scott Turner. I'm happy that his wife said something, that he's speaking up or whatever anonymously. And other teammates, I don't know 100% if it is Logan Thomas, but I do want Scott Turner to be fired by the end of today or by the end of tomorrow. That's the notification I want, and that would be a great gift to start this year off. Scott Turner's fired. I would just love it. It would be a holiday. It really would. Logan Thomas is a guy where I'm kind of iffy on bringing him back. He's not a free agent, but he's a guy that, hey, I think they need to evaluate because that knee injury, it doesn't look good. He did look better against the Browns. He had a couple catches, and he struggled in pass protection as well. The Giants game, both Giants games, he struggled this year. Penalties, holding penalties. Some of the calls were iffy, but he just didn't. He had an underwhelming year. He did, and he's starting to get a little injury prone. Andrew Norwell, he's not a free agent this year. He is a free agent in 2024. He's a free agent in 2024. His dead cap, I'm looking at it right now, is $2.8 million. All the Commander linemen, I would get rid of him, honestly. His dead cap's 2.8. His cap number is $5 million, so we probably save about $3 million when we release him too. I would release him. I would let him go. Norwell, Turner, all of them can go. They all can go. All the Commanders can get up out of here, to be honest with you. So look, hey, I think we're going to have a good amount of cap space this year. We got to be wise with it. We got to use it well. We know Ron is a penny pincher. The Martys, they're penny pinchers. They penny pinch this year. But there's no excuse for penny pinching. It depends on if they do a big trade for Derek Carr, and of course they're going to penny pinch again. Jimmy G, if they sign him as a free agent, he shouldn't get a lot of money. You should have a lot more money than what you had after paying Carson Wentz. But you can't penny pinch this. I don't want to see them penny pinch this offseason. But of course, if they want to be conservative with their money in free agency this year, I'm not mad at it either. But you gotta spend money on this offensive line. You just have to, and you got to get another corner. We don't have depth. Ben St. Juste gets hurt. Danny Johnson played well though. We just need another corner out there to help Kendall Fuller out there. If Kendall Fuller's even brought back, he's a guy that might be on the chopping block too. To be honest with you, I wouldn't be surprised. But he played good. He played good. He had his moments. Amari Cooper, he pissed me off. Let Amari Cooper get that touchdown. But he played well against the Cowboys yesterday. He did. And he had the pick six against the Texans as well. He played better in the second half of the year. Kendall Fuller was so much better. The first half was rough to watch for Kendall. But look at his money as well. If we cut Kendall Fuller, they save $11 million. They save $11 million. I want to look at his contract too, and then this is probably the last person I'll talk about here. Just look at dead cap money. His dead cap money is $3 million, so it's really not that much. You save $8 million if you cut Kendall Fuller. But you got to find a replacement at corner. So I would not cut Kendall Fuller, to be honest with you. I would not cut him. So those are the free agents. That's about it. Carson Wentz can go. He can get out of here. Trey Turner and Norwell can go. They're not free agent. Norwell's not a free agent. Sly can go, to be honest with you. Heinicke I bring back in a nutshell. Boston can go. Mayo can go. Nick Martin can go. Khalil Hudson, bring him back. Daron Payne, definitely re-sign him and bring him back for sure. So, all right, you guys let me know what you guys think. If there's anything different, like I said, I bring Taylor Heinicke back as a backup, maybe $5 million per year, something like that. But I don't think Taylor Heinicke wants to come back here, to be honest with you, if I'm being honest, because of the way things ended, where he should have started. But it is what it is. Or even Sam Howell should have started against the Browns. All right, you guys, I want to thank you guys for rocking with me this season. Shout out to the fans, Commanders fans, keeping it real. Subscribers, all that good stuff. All the fans that I met at the preseason thing, the open practice and stuff like that. My Elite Channel members, we're gonna do a stream on Tuesday. Shout out to my wife too as well for watching the kids during the games. All the Commanders fans that I met throughout the season. All right, you guys. Hail to Commanders. Peace.